Antony Loewenstein joins us now from Jerusalem. Thank you so much for coming on the program. So, as we heard there, the Jewish Democratic Council of America says this is Trump trying to weaponize and politicize anti-Semitism. What are your thoughts on that?
They're right. I mean, one of the most disturbing aspects of this whole debate, and this, of course, has been going on for years now, long before this particular comment, is that Trump, I think, believes that because, in his view, he's been so pro-Israel, moving the US embassy to Jerusalem, recognising the Golan Heights, various other things, being uncritical towards Israeli illegal settlements in Palestine, that how could any Jew in America support the Democrats? The truth is, of course, that for years, the vast majority of American Jews support the Democrats. And in fact, since Trump came into office, even more Jews in the 2020 election will vote for the Democrats and Republicans. So there's that issue. And the other issue, which is important to remember, is this is a classic loyalty anti-Semitism allegation, that how can Jews be loyal, in other words, to two different countries at the same time? I mean, what I think Trump doesn't really understand, and I have to say, this has been weaponized not just by Trump, but by many in the Israeli government as well. Israel and the Americans have never been closer, and the effect of that has been that many, many American Jews have never been more outspoken against the fact that Trump and Israel seem to have no problem with real anti-Semites. Israel routinely invites to this country actual anti-Semites, the leader of Hungary, a range of other individuals. And yet, despite that, he has less of an issue, apparently, with other policies, such as massively expanding settlements in the West Bank and elsewhere, or the fact that, for example, white nationalists are shooting up synagogues in the US. That is seen as less of an issue for Trump and for Israel. And that, to me, is very disturbing.
Let's talk a little bit about Rashida Tlaib. Now, Trump accused her of, he tweeted recently, he accused her of hating Israel and all Jewish people and being an anti-Semite. I mean, it's very, very strong words. How's that sort of talk going down with Jewish people in Israel?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, on one hand, it's impossible to say, and I'm Jewish myself and I live in occupied East Jerusalem, but I'd say the truth is that many Israeli Jews would have no problem with that argument. Anti-Semitism has become weaponized so dangerously that anybody who dares criticize Israel or the occupation is said to be anti-Semitic, which is absurd. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib are not anti-Semitic. The vast majority of Jewish people, in my view, in the world do not regard them as anti-Semitic. And in fact, this is an attempt by Trump, by Israel, by a range of other blind supporters of Israel to try to delegitimize or silence any critic of the occupation. I mean, the occupation of Palestine is now 53 years old. And the idea somehow that raising the question of the occupation, challenging what Israel is doing in the West Bank, Gaza and elsewhere as anti-Semitic is absurd, when real anti-Semitism, attacks on Jews, physical attacks on Jews, a range of other things, is undeniably growing in Europe and elsewhere. That is a concern. As a Jew, that worries me. But the sad reality is that what Israel and the Trump administration is doing is worsening that by somehow ignoring that rising danger and focusing instead on attacking two Muslim women of color in the US who dare challenge the occupation, which I might add is so incredibly rare and refreshing. When was the last time we heard US Congress people, men or women, coming out critically and saying, why should we as American taxpayers in the Congress keep on supporting Israel to the tune of billions of dollars a year when they're essentially, A, blocking us from accessing the country, and secondly, are continuing to oppress the Palestinians? It's an absurd situation. And I think more and more American Jews and Americans in general, according to the polls, realize that reality.
Thank you for that. That is journalist Antony Loewenstein there live from occupied East Jerusalem.